Yeah, I thought I'd give you a little look at it there. It's funny how the camera's over here and yet it's right in the middle of the. Anyway, see, I've got to leave this open now. I left it open to begin with. This was a burn wound that was declared full thickness, but uh, I wasn't going along with it. It was roughly about, uh, considering it was circular, it'd have to be called about 1 square inch. You know, it was more than an inch, but times 0.785. And after the blister popped, I just let the fluids naturally dry. And as a scab would form, I would wait for a long time to give the skin along the edges. I'm trying to teach you kind of how to do live cell migration, how to tend to a wound. This was a burn wound that turned into an edema seep. The only reason I've been covering it up is so as not to offend people because I notice it catches their eye. But for most of the first 8 months following the injury, all I did was just peel the scab back, peel it off. Doctors tell you not to pick at wounds, they're full of shit. Scabs are meant to form up, let them wait a good while, then you'll get this urge to peel it off. Leave it alone, and another one will follow. That's the normal healing process. Let me get plenty of light on this. As you can see, I've really got almost all the skin regrown, and under this kind of wet zigzag, that's actually showing that's because that's the maximum compression, and that's actually a normal natural shape. It's a little damp there because it's still trying to let the fluid, that's really not fluid there, that is new skin. It's trying to let the fluid out of my leg. Please, I had on the other leg, I had seeps that traveled laterally, horizontally, I should say, from one side to the other before they ruptured out, created big holes that took months to heal because they were busy, in part, draining the leg. And I'm at the point with this where I know that I have to go ahead and gross people out. You see, I've already turned my cuff up there so it isn't getting stained. And I don't really give a fuck if people get grossed out and stuff. Many wounds need to be left to the open air. You freaks that keep bandaging things, you sometimes just prolong the healing process. And that's because you haven't experienced the healing process much. I've had about every square inch of my body gouged and burnt and stabbed and cut and sliced and abraded and contused and you name it. And provided I continue to manage the edema well, which is by staying, my mouth is moist, but I really have to stay away from excessive amounts of fluid or it'll begin to build up in my legs again. And this is so close to sealing up. But then over here, I've got one that's still around 2 square inches. That's because I keep it bandaged and I have to, because otherwise it looks really gross and my pants start sticking to it. It would be better, both would be better if I just left them open and it was summertime, I would just wear shorts and go ahead and gross people out. Sometimes it's better to gross people out than to slow one's healing rate. I don't give a fuck what people think what this looks like. It's obviously not infected, and it's about to finally, a good, full, fresh layer of skin is about to finally form up after it's been now almost 11 months since this injury occurred. The only reason it was slowed down, it was down to one little scab, and then my leg decided to use it as a place to eject fluid, what they call an edema weep or seep. I prefer the term seep because that's what it does. It seeps fluid out. And so there's a little bit of today's lesson is there's an old saying that some wounds, but I think they're in reference to romance, some wounds are best when left to the open air. And I find wounds in general to be best left on this leg. I had a 100 square inch, 3rd degree, full thickness burn, and it stayed open. I kept it open for 24 months, inoculated, got every germ in my environment into it, and did live cell migration primarily with dirty fingernails and dirty razor blades. Didn't keep cleaning it because they were showing no signs of infection at any time. For 2 years it took me to get it closed. And I intend to get this one closed. Then the seep on the side, I don't know how long that's going to take. Sometimes it takes a long freaking time, but there you go. To the untrained eye, that looks horrible. To the trained eye, that thing is almost healed. It's almost there. Healing, whether it's after a romance or after a burn or after getting stabbed. Actually, stabbed is easy. They heal quick. Anyway, that's it. I've wasted 7 minutes of your time.